Okay, we'll start till the others join. Right. So today we are going to do a lesson on testing and non-testing techniques. Right. So we do testing and non-testing techniques to identify. Now here testing techniques are done to identify the gravity of psychological problems, and non-testing techniques are used to collect data. Right. So then we'll discuss about it. So then according to this, the main aim of providing guidance and counseling service is to enable individuals to make adjustment to their life, right? So then, and finally, to have behavioral changes that help for them to lead a happy and healthier life, right? So then, guidance and counseling is, we have been discussing about characteristics of guidance and counseling, and what are the similarities, differences we discussed last week. So today we are going to learn about the testing and non-testing techniques are used in guidance and counseling, because that at the end, the main aim of guidance and counseling is to adjust people to the environment, adjust for a better life, and make changes to their life for a happier and healthier life. So today we are talking about record keeping. So now in guidance and counseling, record keeping is very, very important, because we will see why it is important. Because when the counselor and client, when they are having sessions, counseling sessions, counselor keep records. Actually, why does the counselor keep records? What's the purpose of it? Can you guess? Why does the counselor keep records? What's the purpose of keeping records of counseling interventions, counseling interviews? Can anybody guess?
To observe the continued process.
Yes.
Day by day.
Yes.
And the improvement.
So we can observe the improvement, even if we want to do some therapies, or even if we imagine now we have to refer the counselor to another person, then we can give the records to that person. Otherwise, we have to keep on telling this and that, nobody will believe. So if we have reliable,
select correct counseling system, that systematic.
Let's continue.
Select correct systems, the ideas.
Right. Okay. So then it's easy for us to give reliable information to others, right? Okay. Then right. So what are the benefits of maintaining records? Okay. Can somebody read the first one? Read the first one. I want your interaction. Otherwise, if I keep on speaking, you will fall asleep. And without interaction, it will be boring. So you better take the chance and read. Anybody who takes a chance for reading the first one?
Benefits of maintaining records. Maintaining records of the client to one of the main duties of the
practitioners.
Yeah. Records.
So it's one of the main duties of the counselor, maintaining records. Okay. Okay. Read.
Records help the practitioner to documents and review the counseling and guidance service provided.
Right. Records help the practitioners means counselors, to document, that means to write down all the necessary information and review the counseling and guidance services provided. Review means at any time they can go through the documents and just see what they have been doing. Okay, next one. Somebody
Records
else read.
protect
Okay, somebody. Okay, continue. Records.
records protect the practitioner becoming the subject of legal proceedings.
Yeah, sometimes these recordings will be helpful if there's a court case. So therefore, they may
Yes.
happen to produce them. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Another one. Read the fourth point. Take the active participation in the class. Yeah.
Records provide relevant information that the practitioners utilize when providing guidance and counseling services.
Okay, right. So then relevant information that is in the records are useful. They are used when providing guidance and counseling service to the client. Okay, next one.
The records maintained by the practitioners are confidential and are available only to the client.
Right. The record maintained by the practitioners are confidential and are available only to the client. So everybody cannot see what is in that. Only the counselor and the client can see. Right. Next one. Yeah. Next one. Yeah, read.
The clients need to be informed that their records are being maintained, being maintained because the consent of the clients is needed to maintain their record.
Right. The clients need to be informed that their records are being maintained. So that client should know that there are records of their interview sessions, because without the consent of the client, counselor cannot maintain records. If the client says no, don't, then we can't do that. Without the consent of the client, we can't do that. But anyway, records are very, very important in order to decide the problem, identify the problem, and identify the therapies to be given. So records. Wait. What kind of records are, what kind of information are there in the records? Can somebody read? Don't waste time. We have, okay, clients.
Records contain any information that can help to document the nature, delivery, progress, and the result of the guidance and counseling services provided.
Okay, client's record may contain any information. That what are the information that can be included in the records? Nature of the counseling intervention at the interview or counseling session, delivery, how it was done, the progress of the client, results of the guidance and counseling service provided. All these things are in the records. So what are the things that is the records typically contain? What are the things? What kind of information is contained in these records?
Data about the client, referral
Yes.
information, data and types of services provided along with the fee. Details of the counseling of guidance, contact, consultation notes, assessment, and other tests in their reports.
Reports, right. So they should contain data about the client. Client's name, age, the dates they have met for the intervention. So about all the information about the client. Then referral information. Referral means if the client has been referred to some other expert, counselor or a psychiatrist, referral. Date and type of service provided along with the fee. So when they have done the counseling session, what kind of service was provided to the client, whether advice was given or treatment was given, right, and the fee. Then details of the counseling or guidance contract. So that they have a contract. So the contract means that they have at the very beginning, the counselor say, okay, now we are going to have 6 sessions. Api 6 sessions කරනවා ඔයාට. Then those details of the counseling contract is there. So I will charge you daily, or I will charge for the 6 days, like that they will have the contract. Then consultation notes, then counselor's notes, assessment and other tests and their reports. So what kind of tests they have done and their reports, results, all these things are there. Right. Then at the end, it was mentioned that confidentiality of the information should be done. We should not reveal it to anybody. Right. Okay. Read the next one.
Timely retrieval of the record is essential.
Right. So sometimes retrieval means that we have to see the records again. Now imagine now we have a session today, and when I have the second session next day, so before starting I go through the notes of the previous, because we can't remember everything. So then we read what has happened, what we discussed and all. Right. Then next one. The maintenance. Yeah. Read. Somebody read it.
The maintenance of the records should be done to facilitate the guidance and counseling services in the effective manner.
Counseling services. Right. So maintenance
And-
of the records, yeah, should be done to facilitate the guidance and counseling service. So to help the guidance and counseling service, these records should be maintained in effective manner. Right. Next one.
The client's records happen to be the most reliable information about the client.
The client's records must be the most reliable information. That means that they are very reliable. That means very trustworthy information about the client. Next one. Yeah, next one.
These records provide essential information about the progress of the guidance
Yes.
and counseling session, and how these have helped the client.
Right. So
Okay.
then these records provide essential information about the progress of the guidance and counseling session. Now here every day, then they are having the session, they keep the records, and then they can see what kind of progress is there in the client's side, right? And how they have helped the client. Okay, last one. The practitioner must ensure to create and maintain the record in an unbiased manner. So it should be true information without any bias. කාටවත් පක්ෂග්‍රාහී නොවි ඇත්තම ඇත්ත උතුරු තමයි එකේ තියෙන්න ඕනේ. Right? Okay. Right. Types of records maintained. One is cumulative records. Can you just go through the note and tell me what do you understand by cumulative records? Just go through and tell me what is it. Yeah. Can you tell what should contain in cumulative? What is cumulative records? Yeah.
All records about the students.
It is all about the students, right? Who maintain them?
Counselor.
The council, right? So most important types of records maintained by the council, right? So then what is included in these cumulative records?
Information related to the student.
Right? A single record is maintained per student. Each student has record that they maintain record for each student, and all the information related to the student is available. So then any data, that means his name, age, how the child learns, what kind of behavior is there, right? So then any data that is important about the child, about the student, is included in these cumulative records, right? Then what are report cards? What kind of information there in the reports that you know as teachers? What are there? There you can find score, marks of the exams, term tests, assignments, projects. So report cards contain marks of the tests, year-end tests, term tests, right? It's a record of the academic performance of the students. Transcript. No, this is not the transcript that we get from the university. Here transcript means the students' behavior, their performance, their development during the period. When the child is in the school. So all these things are there, right? So then most of the schools, they give this transcript at the end of the term or at the end of the year, right? So then when they give this transcript, if the child needs some remedial measures, so if the child is not performing well in the subjects, so we can give some remedial measures, right? So if the child's behavior should be changed, so we can take some remedial measures. If the child's performance is not good, academic performance, we can take some remedial measures for that, right? So then these transcript provide the students when they are transferring from one school to the other. That's also very important. Then the other school knows about the child's development, what he can do, what kind of behavior he has. It's very, very important when a child goes from one school to the other. What are health records? Right? So health records, that they contain physical fitness level, physical appearance, if the child is suffering from some diseases, all these things are there. But here we can't find in our schools. Attendance records, that means the information about their attendance, how many days were present, how many days were absent, whether the child has come to school on time, all these things included in the attendance record. So then, what are the uses of school records? Can somebody read the first one? The uses of school records. Read the first one, somebody.
The school records maintained by the school counselor can be used for the following purposes.
Right. The school records maintained by the school counselor can be used for the following purposes. What are these purposes?
School records
Yes,
give
first one.
of the students' performance and progress in school. The counselor can use the data to help the students to adjust to the school environment and help the students to learn in an effective manner.
Right,
The
okay.
information.
Okay, we'll see with these two. School records give necessary information about the student's performance and progress in the school. So how does this child perform? What are the marks what's the progress of the child, they are in the school records. Apart from that, the counselor can use the data to help the students to adjust to the school environment. So if the child shows some that means misbehavior, or that some problems adjusting to the environment, so we can take some information from these records and help him to adjust to the school in an effective manner. Read the next one.
The information from the records can be used to help the students understand their intellectual abilities and skills, and also understand their behavior for social development.
Right. Then the information from the records can be used to help the students to understand their intellectual abilities. That means their intelligence. That means we can measure it from the test marks, their skills. Also understand their behavior, social development. So now in our country, we don't have all these things, but in some other countries, they have the school records that all these things are there. Their study marks, their skills, their behaviors, social development, everything can be found in their school records. Right. Next one.
The information from the records can be used by the teachers and parents so that they can understand the students and their needs and help in the overall development of the students.
The information from the record can be used by teachers and parents. How can they use these records by teachers and parents? To understand the students, their needs, and if they need any help to improve, we can do that, right? To identify the development of the students, right? Okay, next one.
The records maintained by a school counselor can help the students to take decisions about the future. The information helps the students to take the right decisions.
Okay. The records maintained by school counselors can help the students to take decisions about the future. Right now, if the records mention about their skills, abilities, then they can take or maybe imagine the child is poor in mathematics but good in IT. So then they can decide their future. The information helps the students to take the right decisions. Okay, next one.
The records also provide information about the school and its functions and how these functions can help the students to fulfill their needs.
Okay, next one.
The school records also act as reference points. These are used when a student has to be referred to another counselor or another school when the student is being transferred.
Okay. The records maintained by school council help the student take decisions about their future. The record also provide information about the school and its functions, how this function can help the students to fulfill their needs. So now in other countries, they have this information. So the parents, they can have an idea about what kind of functions are there in the schools and how do these functions help the students to fulfill their needs, like they're taking leadership, improving creativity, right? Like that. Okay, last one. The school records also act as reference points. These are used whenever the child has to be referred to another counselor. That means now imagine the child needs some counseling, right? But the present counselor cannot help the child anymore. So then when they need to refer the child to another counselor, this information is very, very important. Right. Essential elements of good records. Yes. Can somebody read first 2 points?
Good records must be easy to keep in the sense that the record keeping and maintenance must take less time of the teacher's busy routine. An important quality of a good record is that It must maintain the information in the right manner and must be informative even years later when it is retrieved for use.
Right. Good record must be easy to keep. Right. That means now good records means we should be able, anybody should be able to read and understand easily. That's the important. Even now, if I am keeping records and next that you are the counselor, you should be able to read and understand. So that is the quality of good records, right? So they should be maintained, the information should be maintained in the right manner. And even after years, if we refer it, we should be able to understand it. Okay, next one.
The records must be easy to explain to teachers and so must be based on the knowledge and procedures that all teachers are aware of and can relate to. A record is said to be effective only if the teachers and the record users can easily understand them. If the records are stored in
Okay.
such manner that they are not understood by the teachers, then they are of no use.
Okay, right. The record must be easy to explain to teachers and must be based on knowledge and procedures that all teachers are aware of. So then if there are records, the teacher should be able to read and understand very easily, right? So then effective record means, so they should be easily understood and they should be stored, that means safely kept in places by the record keepers. So therefore the good records means anybody should be able to understand easily. Okay, next one.
Records must be okay. Record must be constructive and nature and must provide all the necessary details pertaining to the students and the development. The record should provide enough details about the strength and weakness of the student, social behavior, the manner in which he uses the abilities and skills, and also the cognitive aspect of students. The records can only then be used for judgment by the teachers.
Okay. Records must be constructive in nature. What do you mean by constructive? That means now, if there are some shortcomings or some weaknesses, that they should give some ideas for the person to develop, right? And must provide all the necessary details pertaining to the student and the development of the student. So then they should provide enough details about the strengths and weaknesses. So what are the good points of the child? What are the weaknesses of the child? What are the social behaviors shown by the child? And how do they show their abilities, skills, their knowledge, right? And so record also can be used to give judgments for the teachers, right? Okay. Right. Next one.
Good manners must be versatile. One must be able to use these records in an easy manner whenever required. Also, a versatile record is the one that can serve more than one objective so that it can save
Right.
time and energy.
Good records must be versatile. Versatile means they should be able to use for different purposes, to identify, to help the child for adjusting to the environment, or if the child needs some other professional counselor rather than the one who is treating now. So like that, they can be used for different purposes. And one must be able to use these records in an easier manner when required. We discussed about it earlier, right? So then, we told that records should be able to understand very easily. That is one of the most important objectives of record keeping. So it saves time and energy of the person if they can understand what is written there very easily. Okay, next one.
One main feature of records is that every record must have a purpose. The records are maintained for specific purposes and these must fulfill the specific purpose in an effective manner.
Okay, right.
Records must
Yes, read.
always be cross-indexed. An overall record pointing to the various records must be maintained for easy retrieval and access.
Okay. So anyway, that the last point that we have discussed is records must be easy to access and they should be very confidential. And now imagine now if a counselor, like me teacher, is giving counseling to a student, and if the teacher needs to refer this child to another counselor, the records must be easy to access and read and understand by the other counselor. So that is the main purpose of keeping records. Right. So American Association Code of Ethics related to record keeping and maintenance, they says that confidentiality of the records, right? So this American Association, according to their ethics related to record keeping, they say that is confidentiality of records is very, very important. So then the records are kept by whom? Who is keeping records of the counseling intervention? Who is keeping these by
the
counselor. And they should be kept secured without the access of any other person, right? So they should be kept in safe location and make sure that only the authorized people have the access to the record. And so if anybody can read these records, it's useless, right? Then if unauthorized people, if other teachers and other students can read these records, so it's violating the rules. So confidentiality of the records is very, very important. Then permission to record. So then while maintaining record, the duty of the counselor is to take permission from the client to maintain the record. Otherwise, without the consent of the client, they can't maintain records, right? So then the session may be recorded using various media, like that they can give an interview orally face to face, they can record and send, they can write, so they can use records in different, they can take data using different media, right? Client access. The counselor must provide the client access to the record when asked the same. So now client should be able to read what is there in the record. He has the right to do that. Client has the right to read what is written in these records, right? So then most of the cases, counselor provide the complete access for the client to read what is written in their records, right? But there are certain, so when counselors are working with a group of clients, that is a very important thing. When working with a group of clients, they provide access for the individuals only to read their parts only, not others. Right now, then now, if you just check online results, only your results can be observed, not others. You have a password, you have to enter it and you can see your results, and others' results you can't watch like that. When giving group counseling, other people cannot read what is written about their friends. So they can read what is written about only about them, right? So then records are confidential and their access is limited. So everybody cannot read these records. Right? Then when the records have to be transferred to a third party or another counselor, they have to get the permission from the client, right? So before giving them, they have to get the permission from the client. So imagine now they have to change the counselor, then they have to give these records to him or her. So for that also they have to get the permission from the client, right? So then since the records contain very sensitive information, sometimes if the counselor feels it's not good to show it to the client, we should not do that. If there are very sensitive things that client should not know, sometimes we should not show all these things to the client, right? Right. So now that is all about record keeping. Now we are coming to the next part, testing techniques. So we are doing testing. There are two types, testing and non-testing techniques. So testing is done for the individuals to know about the problems. What's the problem the individual has? Maybe that the individual has some psychological problem. So we can't just say that this person has psychological problem. We have to use a test and see whether it is true. We have to prove it. So then guidance and counseling help the individual to overcome their problems, right? So counseling professionals must know about the individual if he or she is to help the client. So now before doing counseling, they have to study about the client. Otherwise, without knowing the client, they can't do guidance and counseling for the clients. And there are several techniques that can be used by the practitioners, that means counselors, for the clients, right? So then out of these testing techniques, the most commonly used techniques that can be used by practitioners to know their client and they decide about the guidance and counseling is needed is the testing technique. So if they want to know the problem of the clients, they can use these techniques, right? Testing techniques. So then these techniques increase their confidence, also help the clients to improve their behavior. They can adjust to their problems and it helps for them to lead a happy life, these testing techniques, right? So then process of testing. So we cannot do it merely. We have to have some process, some steps. What's the first step of doing a test is selecting test. So first of all, the counselor has to select the correct test for the client, right? So then according to the problem, according to the nature, so then they have to select the test according to the client, right? So once it has been decided that the client needs to undergo a test, the counselor or the practitioner find out about the various possible testing options that can be used. So now once they decided they need to do a test for this client, they think of the best test options, right? So then they have to study and analyze what kind of test they have to use for the client. Then after selecting the test, they have to administer the test. They have to do the test for the client, right? Right. So then test administration can be done using the standard norms that require the practitioner to follow the specific manual steps. There are steps to be done when administering a test. A practitioner may even carry out the test in a non-standardized format. So there are standard tests. So we can do it in a standard manner. There are non-standardized tests, right? They can use as experiments with the client, right? Then we can give the test to the group or individuals, right? Also, it depends on the clients taking the test, the purpose of the test, why it is done, right? So now, as an example, imagine there's a child who is showing some misbehavior in the class. But we can't say that this child is hyperactive or this child is having some IQ problem. We can't just say. We can verify it through a test. So then we have to decide what kind of test is essential for this child, how to do it, right? Everything should be decided in order to identify the child's problem. We can't just say he has this. Right. Then scoring of tests, that means getting marks for the test. Right. In most cases, machine-based test scoring is carried out most of the time. Now, if you sit for IELTS exam, so they are marked by computers, right? So then it is better than manual scoring, because sometimes when we do manually, we may make mistakes. But here, if we give it to the machine, so they will do it correctly. Right? Then interpreting the test. Interpreting the test is based on the instruction provided. So now when we are after doing the test, in order, before giving the results, we have to follow the instructions given in the manual. There's a guide, right? So based on the type of test carried out, what kind of test we did, then we have to think of the theory that undergoes the test, right? How to do the test, how can we interpret the results. So all these things we have to decide after administering the test, right? So then how can we tell the test results? So the process of testing end in providing the results to the client, right? So then they can be communicated verbally, or we can do it non-verbally, or by giving the result sheet, right? So then they have to understand. Now, as an example, if we give a psychological test, then they can understand their score, and they can decide, so whether the child, even the counselors can decide whether the child is suffering from some psychological problem according to the test score. The main issues in testing is that confidentiality. So then we have to keep all the information confidential. We can't reveal the test marks to the others, the results to the others, right? Okay. Okay, right. So before a test can be administered, it is essential for the counselor to prepare for the test. Now here, first of all, the counselor has to identify. Now, first step is identifying the client. Then he or she has to do a lot of studies and identify the test. What kind of test is, now we are learning about the test in the future. What kind of test is essential? Then there are instructions in the manual how to implement this test to the client. Accordingly, this test should be implemented. Then now that scores should be taken. So they have to, according to the questions, they are putting some marks. So they have to take all the marks and the score and decide whether this child is suffering from this ADHD or not. So whatever it is, they have to select the, they have to decide. So after that, so they have to identify whether the child is suffering from this, from the test marks. They have to decide whether the child has this problem or not, right? So then before doing the test, the counselor has to prepare for the test, right? So then he has to study about the details of how to do the test, and he has to make sure how to conduct this test, how to gain the results, how to interpret the results. Interpret means that thereby they have decided the child is suffering from that or not, right? Then, right, okay, that's all. Right, now we are learning about these tests. What are these tests? Psychological tests and their types. So then, what are these psychological tests? Can you just go through this and tell me what are the psychological tests? I told you that we are learning about these test types. What are the psychological tests? What kind of things are learned from psychological tests? Yes. Yes. So these psychological tests about the abilities, attitudes. So we are used these psychological tests to identify the abilities of people, attitudes of people, motivations, and needs of people. So then there's another psychologist, Anne Anastasi, a famous psychologist. She says that psychological tests can be defined as a sample of an individual's behavior. They are obtained under standard conditions. So these psychological tests are standard. How can they become standard? Tell me, how can we make the test standard? Yes? Well, how can we make a test standard? කොහොමද ටෙස්ට් එකක් ස්ටෑන්ඩ් කරන්නේ? ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් ටෙස්ට් එකක් කරන්නේ. By piloting. අපි කීප දැනක එක කරලා බලනවා ටෙස්ට් එක. By piloting we can make a test a standard test. Right? So then, according to Anne Anastasi, a famous psychologist, psychological tests can be defined as a sample of an individual's behavior. So we can use them to identify the individual's behavior obtained under standard conditions. Right? And we can get their scores. අපි දැන් sentences දීලා ඒකට අපි අර Likert scale එක 3 5 4 එහෙම දාන්න කියලා එහෙම තමයි අපි ඒ ලකුණු එකතු කරගෙන එකතු කරලා බලනවා මේකට අඩු නම් මෙයාට මේක තියෙනවා. මෙහි මෙච්චර නම් මේක නෑ. ඒ වගේ so we can decide, right? So fixed set of rules that provide numeric score, right? There are certain sentences. Then we give marks for each sentence. So if it is this, they have to put 5. If this is this, 4, 3, 2, like that. So at the end, we get the sum and decide whether this child has this problem or not. Right. So in the standardized psychological test, the scores of individual are compared with the test scores obtained from the samples of tests that were conducted when tests were first developed. That means the test score of the individual is compared with the standard score. Standard score එකත් එක්ක අරයාගේ score එක compare කරනවා. So psychological tests can be conducted in various ways, right? So sometimes they have to answer yes or no, right, wrong, right? Then psychological tests are conducted and interpreted on the basis of the manual. That means there's a manual. According to that, the counselor has to give the psychological test, right? And so that depends on that the way the psychologists conduct the test depending on the accuracy and reliability. That depends on the way the counselor conduct the test for the clients, right? So then there are several psychological tests. Look at this. Right. What are these psychological tests? We can use these tests to test our intelligence, to test our abilities, test our interest, test our personality, test the achievements. So there are different psychological tests, right? They have different purposes, right? Then, so these psychological tests any psychological test to be of use to counselors as well as clients must have these characteristics. Okay. Can somebody read the first characteristic of these psychological tests? Can somebody read the first one? One characteristic of these psychological tests, these intelligence tests, abilities, interest tests, personality tests, achievement tests, all the characteristics. Tell me the first one.
The test must be reliable in the sense that it must give accurate and consistent results every time it is used.
Right. The test must be reliable and it must give accurate and consistent results. The results must be accurate. Because that's why we are giving standardized tests. Standardized tests means they have been tested through pilots. That means they have given, before implementing it, before making standard tests, they implement it different places and see whether the same results are taken. So then it becomes a standardized test. Again, standard test pilot karannu. Now you know the education reforms that they are piloting in some schools before introducing it to the whole country. So like that. Then only they become standardized, these tests, right? Okay. The test must be valid in the sense that it measures exactly what is intended to measure. So then If we want to measure the intelligence, the test exactly should measure intelligence. If we want to measure the interest of the person, the questions or the statement should be there to measure the interest, not something else. So therefore, they should measure exactly what is intended to measure. Right. Okay. Can somebody read the next one?
The test must be practical and usable in the sense that it can be easily administered in a cost-effective manner. The test must also be conducted in such a manner that it takes very less time.
Right. So then we are administering test means we should use it. We should administer it very easily, right? Without much difficulty, we should be able to do the test, right? And very cost-effective manner, without spending a lot of money, we should be able to do the test. And also, it should take very less time, not large number of questions. There should be 10 to 15 questions, and it should be easy to answer and get the results. Right. Then, according to Lee Joseph Cronbach, an American educational psychologist, psychological tests are undertaken for the following purposes. What are the purposes that we are taking psychological test? First one is, yes, what is the first one? Can
Prediction.
somebody read? Why are we doing psychological test? For the prediction. Prediction means to predict. Anavaki kiyan. Yes, read that.
The various psychological tests that the individual undertakes provide a basis for predicting the decisions that the individual will take at a later stage in order to overcome the problem.
Right. So then through this test, now they give a test, give this one of the psychological test to the client, and they predict, right, what kind of decisions will the individual take for their problem. So through the results, the score, they can decide, the psychologist can decide what kind of decision will the individual take for the problem, to overcome the problem, right? Next one, selection. Can somebody read that? Can somebody read?
Psychological tests are often administered by various organizations and institutions to know the skills and abilities that an individual possesses. On the basis of these skills and abilities, the individual may be selected for a job or a course.
Selection. What is this for? Psychological tests are often administered by various organizations and institutions to know the skills, abilities that an individual has. Sometimes that they, for selecting for a job, selecting for a course, they give us tests, right? On the basis of these skills and abilities, they will be selected for a job or a course. So now sometimes they have selection tests, especially for English, that they give a test and they select them for different levels: advanced level, diploma, then certificate level, or level 1, 2, like that. Right. Next one. What's the other purpose of giving tests?
Classification.
Yeah. Classification. What is classification? Yes. Read.
Psychological tests are used to classify individuals on the basis of their aptitude and attitude. For example,
Right.
students may
Okay.
need to undertake psychological tests to classify those with high aptitude levels as one group.
Right. Okay. Classification. Psychological tests are used to classify individuals. How are they classified? On the basis of their aptitudes and attitudes. Aptitude means their knowledge. Attitude means their ආකල්ප. ආකල්ප කියන්නේ එයාලා හිතන විදිහ. And then for example, students may need to undertake psychological tests to classify those with high aptitude levels. Now here, sometimes in some schools, the students are grouped as super class. All the students who have got very good results for certain subjects, they are put in the super class. Like that, they are graded. So classification also, they give tests. Okay, next one.
Evaluation.
Yeah, evaluation. Read.
Psychological tests are also undertaken to assess and evaluate programs, methods, and techniques to know whether these are effective in application or not.
Right. Psychological tests are also undertaken to assess and evaluate programs. Sometimes after finishing a program, at the end, that you are asked to write, you are given a feedback form, right? To assess whether this is good, whether the methods and techniques are useful, effective, whether they are applicable. Have you done that kind of evaluation? After a program, you are given some feedback forms, right? To get some evaluation. So these tests are done to predict, right? To decide how a client will overcome the problem. Then for selecting for courses or jobs, for classifying them, their aptitude when they are putting into grades or super classes, then evaluate a program or a course, right? Okay. There are intelligence tests, right? What is an intelligence test? You can read this and tell me, somebody explain me what is intelligence test. What is an intelligence test? Buddhi parishana means. So how do we consider a person as an intelligent person?
Their attitudes and behavior.
Also, now
Oh.
here,
IQ.
intelligence is basically an understanding of how well the individual understand a complex process. Sometimes they are given some, I don't know whether you have sat for these kind of exams, they are given a complex problem to identify the answer, right? So then a person who is able to understand the complex process well and use them equally well is considered to be an intelligent person. So sometimes they are given certain incidents to identify the answers. So to identify their intelligence is done by these tests. Intelligence, however, cannot be measured only on the basis of a single entity. Intelligence money in the bag. In fact, intelligence tests measure a variety of mental functions. Their abilities of the individuals, various mental functions are measured through intelligence tests. Right. Read the next one. So intelligence tests are thus based on 9 different and independent intelligences. There are 9 intelligences. So have you heard about them? Mathematical intelligence, spatial intelligence. I'll show you a video of that, the intelligences. Right. Then, if you have heard about Howard Gardner's multiple intelligence. Okay. After finishing this, I'll show you. So then these multiple intelligence have been proposed by Howard Gardner. He's an American psychologist. So in his theory of multiple intelligence, he shows this. According to him, there are 9 different independent intelligence that enable the individual to find solutions to his or her problems, right? So, wait, I will show you that. I will show you. Wait. Okay, this is good.
So, when you think of intelligence, you know Howard Gardner says there are
Okay, I'll show you this, right? Wait. Okay, can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, madam.
actually multiple types of intelligence,
hear?
and I'm going to go through them with this video. Now, the first
Yes, madam,
is
we
called
can hear.
logical mathematical
Right,
intelligence,
just observe
and this is
properly.
basically what you think of when you think of intellectual intelligence. This would be stuff like logic, or if you're good at taking tests, you'll probably have pretty high logical mathematical intelligence. This also has to do a lot with critical thinking and making and reading graphs, as well as organization. If you like to organize your stuff and keep it very organized and are good at organizing it, then you probably have very high.
Okay, what is there in the wait, we'll watch it from the beginning. It says it talks about critical thinking also. You can write down the keywords. Okay, listen very carefully.
That most people refer to, and that is intellectual intelligence. And Howard Gardner says there are actually multiple types of intelligence, and I'm going to go through them with this video. Now, the first is called logical mathematical intelligence, and this is basically what you think of when you think of intellectual intelligence. This would be stuff like logic, or if you're good at taking tests, you'll probably have pretty high logical mathematical intelligence. This also has to do a lot with critical thinking and making and reading graphs, as well as organization. If you like to organize your stuff and keep it very organized and are good at organizing it, then you probably have very high logical mathematical intelligence. Now, the second one is called verbal linguistic. And if you have high verbal linguistic intelligence, you are probably good at saying that word. You are good at poems, you are good at rhyming words, finding words that rhyme, you are good at reading and writing, and you're good at learning other languages. You learn them pretty quickly compared to other people. And you're probably great at turning a little tiny story into a huge, fascinating story that can enthrall an entire room. The third is interpersonal. And interpersonal intelligence would be like understanding other people's emotions, understanding what the social etiquette and norms are of the situation. You have to be able to be good at reception to other people's moods and what motivates them. If you are a business administrator and you're good at motivating someone, you probably have pretty high interpersonal intelligence. If you're a good leader or just a manager in general, and you can coordinate work with other people, you are probably really intelligent in this interpersonal field. The fourth is body kinesthetic, which means you are good at handling and maneuvering your own body. You can handle objects skillfully and basically move them around however you want them to, as well as your body. People that are very intelligent in the body kinesthetic field are dancers, actors, soldiers, and even many sports athletes. The fifth is musical intelligence, and this is associated with rhythmic and harmonic music. Being able to interpret sounds, rhythms and tones and pitches, and being able to understand them on a level that most people can't understand. If you're good at this, you could probably compose or at least play an instrument. The next is visual spatial, and this is like basically how well can you visualize something in your mind's eye? How well can you think of something in your mind? And another example of this would be how well can you get through a maze? Can you see it in your mind's eye where you're at in the maze or a cornfield? And Gardner went so far as to say that this could even be used as to judging distances, or how well can you read a map? And the next type of intelligence is called intrapersonal intelligence. And this is different from interpersonal intelligence. Intrapersonal intelligence is more about how you understand yourself. Are you self-aware? Do you know what feelings you are feeling, what emotions go through your mind when you're in certain situations? How well can you control your thoughts and actions and feelings in general? Do you know your strengths and weaknesses? And the last, which came out a couple years after Howard Gardner came out with his multiple intelligences theory, is called natural intelligence, naturalistic intelligence. And this has to do with being able to recognize stuff in the real world. Basically, flowers and trees and anything that's living. Hunters and fishermen are pretty intelligent in the naturalistic field. So are chefs and botanists that can grow plants. And basically anyone that is learned in any biological science is pretty intelligent in the naturalistic field. Anyways, my next video is going to be on how you can improve these, how you can become a better person through improving each one of these single intelligences to become a better human being, a smarter, a more intelligent being. I hope you learned something from this video, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Okay. Did you watch it? Could you identify the 8 intelligences? Anybody? Who could identify the 8 intelligences?
Shall I?
Yeah, who could identify the 8 intelligences? Tell me at least 1 or 2.
Logical, mathematical intelligence,
Okay, logical, mathematical intelligence. So what
verbal,
can these people do? Logical and mathematical intelligence people? They can think critically. They can make graphs. They have organizing skills. Okay, next one. Verbal, linguistic intelligence. Yeah. So then they can write poems, rhymes. They can write stories. Okay, learning a language. Okay. Next one.
Interpersonal.
Interpersonal intelligence. What are the characteristics of these people? They can understand others' emotions. They are social.
Social norms.
They can understand their emotions. They can motivate others, work with others. Okay. Next one. What's the other one?
body kinesthetic,
Body kinesthetic intelligence. So what can they do? Who are they? They are dancers, actors, sports people, athletes. They can handle objects. Next one.
Music intelligence.
Musical intelligence. What's there in the musical intelligence? Sound,
Song. Listening song.
sounds, tone, rhythm. Yeah. So they
Poems.
can compose
Tone.
poems, songs, music. Next one.
Interpersonal strength and weakness.
For that, there's another one.
visual spatial,
Visual spatial intelligence. That means how well you can think of something in your mind. You can judge distance, read maps. Next one.
Interpersonal strength and weakness.
Intrapersonal. Yeah.
Intrapersonal.
Intrapersonal means about you, within you. Intra. That how you understand yourself, your emotions, your actions, your weaknesses, your strengths, your feelings. Right. Next one. Last one.
Naturalist.
Emotions. That means how you recognize
Natural.
the real world, the animals, how do they grow,
Animals.
how do plants grow. Right. So that is about 8 intelligences given by Howard Gardner. Right.
excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah, Matthias.
In our notes of Howard Gardner's points, there are 9 types of intelligences.
Yes,
It
what is
is
the 9th one?
Existential intelligence.
What's that?
Existential intelligence.
Existential.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Is it coming together with naturalistic or is it 9th one?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Maybe that Howard Gardner's, we'll see. Yeah, maybe 9. But anyway, that they have given only the most important things, it seems here.
Okay, ma'am.
Right. Here, here 9 different intelligences here. According to Gardner, these 9 different and independent
Something happened, right? Madam is not in the group meeting.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Okay.
advanced. This was the back to state. Okay, I will show. Right. So then, according to you, it's yes, there are 9 different independent intelligences that is given by Howard Gardner. Right. So then, so the theory of multiple intelligence states that intelligence is not a single entity. So it is not only one thing. There are number of things that like visual, spatial, intrapersonal, interpersonal, naturalistic, musical, then body and kinesthetic, verbal linguistic, logic and mathematical. So there are number of intelligences. They get together, right? It is not a single thing. Intelligence is comprises of a number of intelligences, right? So then, so and a person's intelligence cannot be measured on the basis of what? Excellence at a specific task. So we can't just say if he's only good at logical and mathematical thing that he is intelligent. We can't say. So he should be able to do verbal linguistics, interpersonal, body cognition, all these things should be there. So that is then only we can decide that he is intelligent. Otherwise, we can't decide he is an intelligent person, right? Okay, right. So, until I have written there. So, following are the 9 types of intelligences as described by Gardner. Okay, can somebody read the first one? Can somebody read the first one?
Linguistic intelligence.
Linguistic intelligence. What is linguistic intelligence?
Linguistic intelligence refers to the ability of the individual to make use of language he knows in expressing his thoughts and understanding others.
He knows. Right. So then, linguistic intelligence means the ability of the person to use the language he knows, to express his thoughts, his feelings, and about his understanding of others. So if he is able to express all these things, he has linguistic intelligence. Okay. Another one, read the next one, logical mathematical intelligence.
Logical mathematical intelligence refers to the ability of the individual to think logically and critically, to manipulate symbols and solve mathematical problems.
Right. Logical mathematical intelligence is, it refers to ability of the individual think logically. Sometimes we have to think logically and critically to use symbols and solve mathematical problems. We have to think. So if we are given a mathematical problem, we have to think logically how to solve it. Otherwise, we can't by heart it and do. කටපාඩම් කරලා කරන්න බෑ. අපිට logically හිතලා තමයි ඒක ගාන හදන්න වෙන්නේ. Okay. Another one, spatial intelligence. Yes, somebody read.
Partial intelligence. Partial intelligence refers to the ability of person to form, transfer, and use mental images. It is a spatial intelligence that enables a person to understand the relationship of object in space.
Space, right? Spatial intelligence is, so it is, it helps us to imagine, right? So think of something in our mind and judge the distance, කොච්චර දුරකින්ද ඒක තියන්නේ, and if we want to read maps, so that we need the spatial intelligence, right? So objects, now imagine now we just look at something and think, okay, now the distance from this house to this place is 100 meters. So like that we can understand the relationship of object in the space. Okay, now here this is about 2 kilometers to the school. Okay, like that we can understand the relationship of objects in the space. Okay, right, next one, somebody read the musical intelligence.
Musical intelligence. Musical intelligence is the capability of the individual to create, produce, and manipulate musical patterns.
So then musical intelligence refers to a person's ability to understand, that means ability to produce and manipulate musical patterns, like so now they can compose a song, put music, and understand the rhythm of the music. So that is called musical intelligence. What's the other one? Yeah, bodily. Yeah, read. Okay, quickly read. Bodily kinesthetic intelligence. What is bodily kinesthetic intelligence?
Bodily kinesthetic intelligence refers to the individual's ability to make use of his body structure and muscles in a coordinated manner to facilitate movement and to do various tasks in a routine manner.
Right. So bodily kinesthetic means a person's ability to make his body structure and muscles in coordinated manner to facilitate movement. As an example, if you think of hitting a ball, right? Now imagine a cricketer is hitting a ball. So what are the parts that he has to use? He has to think. He has to use eyes. He sees the ball is coming. Then he uses his hands to hit the ball. That means the structure and muscles he uses. There's a coordination of brain, eyes, and muscles. Then again, he has to use his feet as well. So like that it facilitates the movement to do various tasks in a routine manner. Right. Okay. Next one. Read the next one. Interpersonal intelligence. What do you mean by interpersonal intelligence?
Interpersonal
The
intelligence.
ability of the individual to relate with other people and understand the behavior, attitudes, and emotions of other people. This type of intelligence enables a person find out why the other person behaves in a specific manner.
Okay. Interpersonal intelligence is the ability of the individual to relate with other people and understand the behavior, attitude, and emotion of other people. So interpersonal means that he is moving with other people, interacting with other people. He can understand other people's behavior, their attitudes, their emotions. So then what is the use of this type of intelligence? It enables a person to find out the other person's behavior, right? So then it's important in the society. If we want to live in the society, we should understand other people's emotions, feelings, their behaviors. For that, we need to have interpersonal intelligence. Okay, next one. Just read the next one.
Intrapersonal intelligence is the individual's ability to understand his inner self. It enables person to identify his strengths and weaknesses so that the person can relate with others on this basis.
Right. So then intrapersonal intelligence is what? Yeah. So individual's ability to understand himself, his inner self. So it enables a person to identify strengths, weaknesses. So then what else? His emotions, how can he behave in the society, right? How can he motivate others, how to work with others. So all these things belong to intrapersonal intelligence, right? Okay. Next one.
Naturalistic intelligence. Naturalistic intelligence refers to the ability of a person to understand the nature and the environment that surrounds the person. It
Nature.
enables a person to identify the beauty of the nature and also makes a person aware of the importance of environment to lead a healthy life.
Okay, right. So then naturalistic intelligence, it helps the people to understand the beauty of nature, right? So he understands the importance of the environment because it gives us breathe and it helps us for breathing. It gives us oxygen for breathing, and we learn how do animals grow, trees grow, right? So then he is aware about the importance of environment that we need for a healthy life. Okay, next one. Yeah, last one. 9th one, yeah. It is the existential intelligence. What do you mean by existential intelligence? It is the ability of a person to understand the basics of human existence. So what are the basics of human existence? We need oxygen to breathe. We need food to eat, right? We need good air, right? So then the basic things that we need for human existence, and it enables for the existence of the mankind, right? With the emergence of the concept of multiple intelligence, the intelligence tests today require a person to perform several tasks. So then, according to these multiple intelligences, so today these intelligence tests perform several tasks. So there are four basic intelligence tests that are used to measure the intelligence of a person. So one is Binet-Simon scale, right? If I have this, I can show you. We'll see whether it is available in the internet. So Binet-Simon scale. So it was composed in 1905, and again it was revised in 1908 and 1911. So then it was developed by Alfred Binet and Theodore Simon. So they believed that intelligence was a learned entity. They said that we can learn the intelligence, right? So it was basically formulated to test the intelligence of children according to their age. Intelligence. The test was conducted on children in the age group of 3 to 12 years. Right? What's the age group that they had set this intelligence test for? 3 to 12 years to measure their intelligence. Right? Okay. Let's see. So what kind of activities are included? So they have to recognize certain food. There are simple commands. they have to imitate certain gestures. ඉරියව් වගේ දේවල් අනුගමනය කරන්න තියෙනවා. They have to verbally tell about the objects, verbally identify the pictures, and name some objects, compare two lines, unequal lengths, compare two weights. So there are some tests for them. Right, so these are the activities they have. So they have an abstract question, right? They have paper cuttings. So they have different tasks in order to test their intelligence, right? Okay. I'll see whether I can show you a test. Wait. Alfred Binet's intelligence test. Okay, give me some time. I'm selecting a good one. Okay, I found some. Oh, wait. The language is different. Okay, right, I'll show you. It's difficult. We'll see whether it's available. It's not visible. They have blurred it. Okay, it doesn't matter. So there are some objects for a child to identify, right? There are certain objects where a child can identify. Okay, right, doesn't matter. We'll continue. I'll give you that test next week. We have downloaded it. Give me 1 minute. Okay. Okay, I will try my best to download a Binet's test and will give you tomorrow, right? Okay. So then, Binet-Simon scale, it is basically measure the mental age of the child. That what do you mean by mental age and chronological age? So we use these tests to measure gifted children. Now, there are some students that who are above average. They are average and low IQ rate students. So if we want to measure who are the gifted children or above average children, that we can give this Binet-Simon scale test, right? So then to test their chronological age and mental age. Mental age means according to their normal age, whether their intelligence is higher or not, right? Chronological age means the normal growth to normal age. Then, so chronological age of the child is the age that corresponds to a specific level of performance. Based on this, the results of the test were classified as follows. Average, look at here, average score mean that the mental age and the chronological age match each other. So average children means their normal age and their mental age is equal. Advanced means their mental age is higher than their normal age. Yani බුද්ධි මට්ටම තමන්ගේ මට්ටමට වඩා ඉහළයි. ඒත් මෙයා ඉන්නේ පහේ පන්තියේ නමුත් එයාට තියෙනවා බුද්ධි මට්ටමක් අටේ පන්තියක වගේ ළමෙක්ගේ. Advanced. Retarded means, the test score retarded means the mental age is lower than the chronological age. එයාගේ වයසට වැඩිය එයාගේ බුද්ධි මට්ටම අඩුයි. So these can be tested through psychological tests. So by giving psychological tests, they get the score. From the score, they decide whether the child is an average child, advanced child, or a retarded child. Right? Did you understand? So they give a test. From the test, they get a score. From the score, they decide whether this child has more marks. If the child has more marks, this child is advanced. If the child has the marks according to the average child, he's an average child, like that. Right. So then, standard Binet scale. The Binet scale was developed in 1916 by the psychologist, right, to formulate the standard Binet scale. Right. So then, IQ, intelligence quotient, IQ. How is measured? IQ is measured. How is IQ measured? දන්නවද කවුරුහරි IQ මනින්නේ කොහොමද කියලා? Intelligence quotient is calculated by dividing the mental age divided by chronological age. How is mental age received? කොහොමද mental age එක ගන්නෙ? How to get the mental age? By giving a test. Average the, high the, low the, right? And it is divided by අපිට test එකක් දෙනවා. A test is given. The test score says this child has intelligence of grade 8. ඒ කියන්නේ grade 8 කියලා කියන අවුරුදු 15ක ළමයිගේ නැත්නම් 14ක ළමයිගේ age මෙයාට mental age එකක් තමයි තියෙන්නේ. Right? So that we give an Alfred Binet test to a child. This child show the intelligence of, now he is in grade 5 and he shows an intelligence of grade 8 child. So he is advanced. So then that is his mental age. It is divided by his normal age 12 and multiplied by 100. එහෙම තමයි IQ හොයන්නේ. Average child කෙනෙක්ගේ නම් අර mental age එකයි chronological age එකයි සමානයි multiplied by 100. So then lower average කෙනෙක්ගේ නම් so mental age is lower than chronological age. So then this test allows children of different age groups to become compared on the basis of the IQ score. So then according to IQ score, we can decide whether this child is a gifted child, average child, or a slow learner. So these are the Binet's decision about the child's intelligence. Okay, right. So then, Alfred Binet, these are the intelligence tests. So from these intelligence tests, we can decide whether the children have some psychological problems, whether the children have low IQ rate, whether the child is above IQ, average. So these things can be decided by the Alfred Binet psychological tests, right? So I will download one and give you tomorrow, if possible, because it doesn't allow for downloading Alfred Binet's tests, right? Any other thing you want to get clarified before ending the session? Anything you want to get clarified that you did not understand? Can you just tell me? Which part was not understood? Yes. Anything you want to get clarified according to the lessons we did? I can explain it again. No problems?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Understood.
And can you upload the PPT to the chat box, please?
Oh, right. Right. So it was sent to the chat box. You can download it. And we'll do. When are you going to have the exam? When are you supposed to do your exams?
In the meeting, they have told it will be on December. For the 25th. Yeah. There's two batches of these days. I don't know. 25th batch will be on December.
Ah. Right. So then.
Bobby, පොඩ්ඩක් එන්න.
Hello. Hello, anybody upload that PDF again, please?
I downloaded, but it's not. I can't see that. It's not working. I don't know. Do you have the?
My case also like.
Yeah, same issue. I can't open. I'm trying to open, but I don't know. I can't do it.
What to do?
Maybe, yeah, we don't have the lectures tomorrow, right?
Yeah. We don't have
No,
the
they
timetable.
according to the timetable, we don't have. I
Uh,
don't know. According to the
last
timetable, yeah.
last class they had hold a meeting. So held a meeting.
But
No? Yeah.
but madam said we will have tomorrow, right?
Okay.
I don't know exactly actually.
So PDF not open.
Yeah, can't open.
Can you send or not open? No? I left the meeting, so I didn't get again the PDF. That's the problem.
Oh, it's in
When
the
I
chat box.
opened,
You couldn't
check.
download?
Yeah, I when the download the PDF, I left to the meeting. I join again, so that is not in the chat box.
I don't know. Let's see. Maybe
Can you send? No, you can't.
no. Yeah, I can share, but the problem is it can't open. That's why.
You share no? I'll open it.
I can't open the
Uh,
PDF. That's the problem. I downloaded. I can't
uh,
open it. That's the problem.
so you can't share it, no?
Yes,
Okay, what to do?
can't open.
Okay,
That's why.
okay. We'll ask the group.
Yeah,
The
let's see.
cases, 10 people only participated.
Yes,
Yes,
today it's very less.
less people. So
Mm,
we'll ask somebody.
yeah.
Okay,
I
thank
feel
you.
like that on the meeting on that day, remember so many people has told it's difficult to attend the classes. Maybe that's why now they have excuses and they don't want to because
Oh, yes.
everyone expecting the listen to the recordings. I think.
Yes, that is easy, no? If they keep the records, the attendance records,
I
they will
am not
consider.
sure, right? I don't think.
Are they taking or no? We don't know, no?
Yeah, I don't know actually.
Okay, we'll see. Thank you. Tomorrow, if we don't know the next class, no? We'll
Yes, we
ask the
don't
next
know.
class.
Yeah,
Thank you.
maybe not tomorrow. Let's see if they send the meeting link. We can join. Otherwise, we have to wait till they send us the timetable.
Okay. The next class we'll ask the PDF again.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Good night.
Okay, dear. Good night.